Welcome to Drinking with Comics, new comic book day and a beer. I'm Sean, and it's been about a month and a half since I did the last one of these. I was in LA for pretty much all of January. I had 4 weeks of pull list at Rick's Comic City in Clarksville to pick up when I got back, and I stopped at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach a couple times, picked up some stuff, got a bunch of books. Not going to talk about any of them. Let's talk about what I picked up today. It's Wednesday, February 14th. Happy VD. First, the beer. So, local brewery, Black Horse, great beer, great food, really nice place. Only downside, it's always fucking busy. But I picked up a 12-pack assortment, and this is the coffee milk stout. This is fantastic. 5.5% alcohol. Snap, crackle, pop. Notes of coffee right there in the flavor, along with almost like a caramely. Oh, it's delicious. So yeah, so that is Black Horse Brewing Coffee Milk Stout. Okay, books today. Fall of the House of X, #2. I don't know if this cover moves you as much as it moves me, but the idea, the image of Polaris in green Magneto armor towing the severed celestial head behind her is just fucking outstanding. I mean, it's already like a candidate for one of my favorite covers from the big two of the year. The actual story, so I caught up on Fall of House and Rise of Powers when I got back. So I've read the first issue of both of those. They were both good, fine. I don't really have a lay of the land yet. As you may remember, I'm kind of reaching my plateau with where I am with this Fall of X thing. I'm not loving it. The last couple issues of Immortal X-Men I did not like at all. X-Men Red went out on top, but yeah, so I'm just waiting to see how they're gonna land what they're doing. And this issue starts really fucking good. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a spoiler here. It's not a huge spoiler. It's not that anybody dies, but it starts with the Bloom, which is the Orcus space station, and we've got Dr. Stasis, who's the sinister clone with the fucking four-leaf clover on his head. Yeah, I mean the card suits. I don't know. I'm not huge on that, but anyway, whatever. And then MODOK, who anytime I read a word bubble by MODOK now, it's Patton Oswalt's voice in my head. But they're in this, the Orcus space station, the Bloom, and here comes Polaris towing the severed celestial head, hurls it directly at them, animates it so that it's chewing into the space station, and then comes in, and all of the Orcus troops are ready with this anti-mutant ammunition. And she comes in, and the last panel on the third page is close up on her face in the helmet, and she says, "To me." And so the big flip is like, oh my god, here's Polaris saying, "To me, my X-Men," right? It's not. It's "To me, my brood." And the fucking brood just comes swarming in and just decimate the Orcus ranks. I was blown away by that. That's one of the best moments in Kieran Gillen's run on X-Men, period. Like, I just thought that was brilliant. And the whole thing with Polaris, and this is actually Jerry Duggan writing this. I forgot about that. So either way, in this whole post Hickman verse, that was one of my favorite moments. But then the issue, I don't know, it started to they're juggling a lot of stuff. They do a pretty good job. I didn't get a feel. It was a little rushed, but I mean, you can't really help that. So I was okay with it. I like seeing Juggernaut. I didn't understand. There's a whole thing with Manifold. Didn't understand, but I don't really know that character very well, other than a little bit from the last Sword series. And then near the end, I found it really ridiculous that they actually say that they let Stasis and some of the others. Polaris allowed the escape pods to leave the Doom Station. The X-Men might have a revolving door on their graves, but they were always handing out second chances to their enemies. Makes no sense. They just killed how many people with the Brood and with everything else? Wolverine and Colossus are killing people in an adjacent Orcus spaceship, and she allows Stasis to go. It makes no sense. That pissed me off. So I don't know. It was a plus and then a minus. So I guess that just balances it out. Overall, good issue. Still waiting to see where they're going, and shit like that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. Great moments, sure, but great moments don't necessarily make a great story. Zack Snyder can tell you that from pretty much most of his movies. Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer, Transformers #5, cover says it all. We got the reveal in the last issue that Optimus Prime is walking around with Megatron's arm, complete with the cannon on it, because he was damaged and they did not have the ability to repair themselves. That's kind of the big crux of this arc, this first arc of the Transformers for Energon Universe and Skybound is upon waking, both the Autobots and Decepticons do not have the power to repair the damaged troopers or to get anything going. So it's kind of been a real like ragtag battle. This issue changes that a bit, and it was a good issue. I really enjoyed it. And it ends, I won't say what it ends with, but with a fantastic image and an introduction of a great character who's very powerful. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 148. This is the road to 150. So what we found out while I was gone is that when we hit 150, not only is Sophie Campbell leaving, but this is going to cease. And there's a new series that's going to start with Jason Aaron writing it. Now, I have been unable to figure out if the continuity will be continuing and they're just making a new #1, or if it's going to be a straight reboot. If it's a straight reboot, I will not be reading it. Much love to Jason Aaron. I love Scalped, but I'll be good with the 150 issues of this. I mean, this title's been going on forever. It deserves a rest, but at the same time, I feel like there's more room. I really do. And especially with the evolution of the characters and their whole social network, I just really, I don't know. I'm worried, but they are playing around with a lot of like possible future kind of things. And I think that that's going to be the end to resetting the series. So that's a toss up. I'm not sure. Look, if the cast stays in its entirety or mostly in its entirety, I'll stay. But if they reboot it where it's going to be the 4 Turtles, Splinter, Shredder, I just don't know if I'm going to do that again. I'm sure it'll be great, but I just don't. This is so definitive to me, other than the black and white one from the 80s. Like and I've read several other iterations, and I mean, I don't know, so we'll see. James Tinian and Joshua Hickson. This is The Deviant #5. This book is fucking gnarly. As a horror comic, this is one of my favorites at the moment. And there's it's either a reveal or a red herring at the end of this issue. And it's awesome. And just in general, like, I really like this issue. It starts in Milwaukee in 2019 at the Rave. With Rave Eagles Ballroom it's like 2 rock venues that are adjacent. The Rave is, I think, the smaller one, if I'm not mistaken. It's been like at least 15 years since I've been there. It's the main character and his boyfriend. They go walking to find apartment where Jeffrey Dahmer killed all those men is within walking distance. For me, that little detail at the beginning was really, really cool. Man, I miss Milwaukee. And then just the reveal at the end, and it's not going where I thought it was. Whether it's going where I now think it is, I don't know. Tinian's pretty damn good, so all bets are off. The one I can't read yet, Blood Commandment #4. This is the final to the miniseries. I never got #3. I have that waiting for me. I need to pick up some books in Chicago. I really like the first 2 issues. It killed me I didn't get the third one. It's a low print run, and shops just are not buying a lot of it. So I get it. I just neglected to put it on my pull list because I was able to get the first 2. So I will remedy catching up with this soon. But yeah, I got it. So that was cool. And then this is just, I bought a bunch of kind of extraneous stuff at the Bug, and I looked through their back issue bins. I love their back issue bins. This was sitting right at the front. I'd never even heard of this book before. It's definitely like, for me, this is my golden age of Marvel, because this is like, this whole design is when I started comics, like around 84. And Machine Man, this is a Barry Windsor Smith cover. This is one of, in my mind, as soon as I saw this cover, I'm like, I don't give a shit what comic that is. I'm buying that. I love this cover more than most covers, and I have thousands of comics, and I just, with no attachment to the characters of the story inside, I just love it. I did read this in my hotel room shortly after I got it. It's #3 and I believe a 4 issue yeah, 3 and a 4 issue limited series, and I think there was another Machine Man limited series before this that sets it up. I know nothing about anything that's in this book at all. It's in the future, and Arno Stark, who's Tony Stark's evil descendant, is in it with a futuristic but also kind of steampunky version of the Iron Man armor. That's kind of cool. There's like space dreadnought kind of guys. I don't know. It's an interesting. It's more of that kind of hobby shop sci-fi. That's it. It was a quick one this week. I haven't looked at next week's pull yet. I don't know what that will entail. But until then, I'm Sean for Drinking with Comics, and cheers. Hi, I'm Sean. Join me and my friends every week for the Horror Vision, where we talk about horror movies.